undefeated run throughout the first 6 weeks of the 2020 season so far. Dignitas just 1 game behind that 3rd place group.
Yeah, they would love to be able to beat the team to break that undefeated streak for Cloud9, and also would be a big win for them in the standings because we have so many teams that are so close. You really do need to kind of scrape and claw for every single win that you can get. I would say, as far as teams that have a shot at taking down Cloud9, I do think that having someone like Huni, that gives Dignitas a chance at it, right? It is this guy who can go crazy in a game, who can take over a game, and is willing to play extremely risky. And we talked about it on the desk. They were talking about kind of coin flip, be hot and cold, these types of things. It's just another way of saying they're willing to take big risks sometimes, and it doesn't always pan out, but if it does, maybe that's the key to taking down Cloud9.
Risks are fun. I think risks are appropriate when you are on paper the weaker team. I think that is the way you find your upset wins. In the meantime, though, improve. You can't coin flip every game. That's not how you do. That's not how you go far in a season.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I do want to point out I really like Cloud9's bans. I think they're actually quite targeted. Yes, we saw. We know we can probably see some Rumble support at some points and all that, but overall, though, they feel pretty targeted. Right, Grig specifically on Olaf, Huni known as the great Rumble player, doing a bit to ban specifically against Dignitas.
I would love to see Dignitas save last pick for Huni and give me something spicy. Give me a split push pick. Give me a true hard counter pick for lane that you can kind of dominate and try to have an avenue to play through.
Camille into Aatrox.
Yeah, I mean, or Fiora, right? Take one step further. Because one of the big struggles the teams have been having against Cloud9
there you go.
is that Cloud9 has just been winning every lane, and then the jungler's like, well, where do I go? What do I do? And they're also so good in the mid and the late game that it becomes very difficult. And yeah, this could be Lucian top. This could be just a standard more bot lane play, moving towards that. But there is the possibility.
Nope, they blinded top lane. Huni said, I'm feeling it. Just give me the champion. I practiced it all week. Calling it now. If I'm wrong, I never said this.
I mean, you're kind of not wrong because it has the possibility of going there, you know, whether it does or not. You can blind it early with the intention of swapping it around, right? If Froggen, Johnsun, and Huni are all comfortable playing it, there is going to be somewhere that it's going to work out for top lane, right? And it does make Licorice respect the fact that, hey, maybe I'm laning against Lucian. I have to pick something that can actually match up well against this. And if he picks a really strong matchup into it, then maybe Huni says, I don't want to play it anymore. Give me something else. Yeah,
and if I'm Dignitas, pick jungle here, right? I leave all 3 lanes open as a possibility coming into that second ban phase. And then you pick one, okay, you slightly remove the options of possibility, okay, but it can still go to all 3, right? They do grab jungle, they take the Elise to match up against Gragas there, and now Cloud9 says, okay, well, I mean, the 80 carry tier list is basically done now, right? Senna, Aphelios, MF are gone, so Lucian's as A tier as anything else is. We know Huni can play it. We know Froggen has, he's been playing for so long, he's got every champion. I mean, this guy used to play AD Lee Sin mid, and he was serious about it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dignitas is going to aim their bans right now at mid lane.
Yeah, I think some of the Cloud9 bans may give us insight into where they believe the pick will be going, right? If we see them banning out more top laners, they may be thinking it's going elsewhere on the map, but it's tough because if you double ban any of those lanes, then they can just send the Lucian there and say, great, you wasted your bans. So not assuming that it is going to be a bot laner, banning out Varus, Ashe would be another that I think is quite strong currently.
Yep.
If you don't think that Johnsun has actually selected Lucian as his bot laner.
Well, we'll see what comes through. Ashe would be the, as you mentioned, the other sort of obvious Tahm Kench synergy and champion he's played. Dignitas throwing out mid lane bans. I can't say that I really know Lucian's matchups, but I'm assuming those are ones that are reasonable into him.
Yeah, I think Zoe also is just pretty safe into most matchups because you have very good range, your wave clear is quite strong. It's also the most played for Nisqy. Has 4 Zoe games, 2 Kiana, everything else is only 1 play. So it is comfort, it is safety, regardless of what Froggen wants to play mid lane, Lucian or not, these are solid bans. So Kiana being banned out means it will be a Nisqy push down, Froggen push down a little bit here too, and worried about the possibility of another AD solo laner because the Elise is already locked in. They know Dignitas has a chance to go towards that.
I think Dignitas need more front line. I think Tahm Kench played appropriately as not the solo front liner. He's there to save things out, which means you need a Maokai or something somewhere in this lineup.
So I will say, if you want to play side lane, you don't necessarily have to, right? If you're going to commit to split push, we now know this is Lucian's solo lane, unless it's something really crazy with Jinx solo lane, but I'm not even going to go into that.
No, that's not.
So you know, you could have TK there more as the safety for the Jinx to be able to allow Jinx to wave clear, play to a side lane. Tahm Kench can ult to that side lane to try to help take advantage of that and try to win the game through that side lane, taking down towers and putting pressure on, creating a big advantage there. So if that's the style you want to go for, you don't necessarily need a frontliner. But I do agree if it comes to 5v5, when you're looking over at what Cloud9 has, it already feels way easier to execute on.
Yeah.
Unless they do want to go to something like that Maokai, which, funnily enough, I think is actually a pretty good matchup into Aatrox and is a very strong tank.
Then I think they need something like Victor pretty quickly here, because Jinx is not the wave clear AD carry you pick when you're just, okay, Lucian, go 1v1 the side lane, we'll see you in mid. She is always dead to Gragas barrel, unless Aphromoo is perfect every time. Then even then, Gragas barrel can knock him in instead. So if it's Sivir, great. You know, Lucian all day, I can sit there with static shiv and everything's gone every single time. But Jinx is not when you pick for that kind of role. It's not horrible with Rockets and Hurricane, but it's unsafe, and that's the danger. So there's the wave clear mid. It's not Victor, it's Anivia. That is the tool. So it is Lucian in the top lane. He's up against that Aatrox. Anivia in the mid lane is your wave clear duty.
This is very interesting. It does feel like it's going to be very heavily based on that side lane. It's going to be based on, if it goes to the 5v5, more about zone control, utilizing the wall as well as the Anivia ultimate to try to force these awkward positions for Cloud9. But as far as just straight up engage, as far as straight up 5v5 prowess, you would expect that Cloud9 has a much more simple composition. Blaber with the hard engage, follow up from Braum as well as Aatrox, and a couple of strong backliners. There is no Braum against the MF, so it's fairly easy to then layer the MF ultimate over top. Dignitas needs to get side lane advantages, needs to get early game advantages. You have the Elise, you have the Lucian. The clear target here will be Aatrox, and that feels like what a lot of the game is going to be centered around. Can Dignitas establish enough of a side lane advantage that some of these disadvantages they have later on won't matter?
Well, Cloud9 picked their solos knowing that Lucian was in one of those two lanes. Then after seeing it, Dignitas said, okay, it's top, and Anivia is in. Let's see how well the matchup plays out. No one has really come close to beating Cloud9 all year long. Coming into the week, FlyQuest and Dig said, hey, we'll be the two. We can make this one happen. Maybe we can make it come through. FlyQuest, it wasn't that. Dignitas then lost to them themselves. Now it's Dig's turn to try.
So I've got to point out something that has surprised me. I'm sure it is surprising Licorice. Huni is bringing Ignite.
Of course he is.
So this is Ignite Lucian top. This is the most play for lane you can pretty much be. A lot of pro players are really not players that practice at all with Ignite top lane because they feel like, hey, you're never going to see it in competitive. It's never going to have a place in competitive because it is so all in on dominating your lane early. One bad gank, one bad recall, and all of a sudden the person with teleport just has a monumental experience and gold advantage. So Huni must play well in the early game. Grig must defend him from ganks from Blaber, or the game plan is going to be out the window.
Well, it means the target in the top lane. I haven't seen the team pings where they, ping the Ignite, but I'm sure they're saying it out loud. Now, real quick, though, we've got Pastry on the sideline with Dignitas.
Thank you very much. I am here with ThinkHut of Dignitas. This is quite the spicy drops, my friend. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we have a lot of comfort picks. Obviously, C9's a very good team, and we just want to be comfortable on the Rift and make sure that we can get the setups that we want and make sure that we are confident in those situations.
And so I did also just learn that Huni has taken Ignite. Was that a choice that you encourage, or is that more Huni wanting to do Huni things?
It's a bit of both. We definitely tried it out, and since Lucian always has prio, he usually doesn't have like the best TP plays since Lucian just wants to push in the whole game. So it's something that was tried out a little bit, and hopefully it pays off.
All right, thank you so much, and best of luck with the game. Back to you guys for the cast.
I think that's an interesting point. And, Lucian definitely, when you take teleport, it's not about the sick Lucian TP flank, but, it's about consistency for the actual 1v1 at times, right? Because you take one bad trade, you get ganked and even chunk low and you don't die, and you don't have teleport, all of a sudden you're losing all those waves at your turret. You're losing all the experience, and that can be enough to turn a matchup around. But if he is winning, it is going to give him much earlier kill pressure. It is going to negate a lot of the healing that Aatrox is dependent upon in any potential all-in with his ultimate. So I'm very excited to see Huni pull this off. This is the kind of pick I was calling for, right? If you're against Cloud9, if you're expected to get smashed as Cloud9 is doing to everyone, hey, take a risky pick. Look for something that could maybe be the difference and win you the game.
Well, Huni, perfect CS so far and has been denying Licorice, as you might expect. Also, as a surprise to nobody, both junglers started bottom side so they can get level 3 and then be on the top side of the map to affect this matchup. Still 1 to 10 CS early game top side as the Elise has made her way to the top jungle, and Gragas has now done this as well. Froggen's long and storied LCS career, of course, has been on fairly weak teams. Do want to point out, though, Dignitas is also sitting about the halfway point as well right now, but Anivia definitely a long-time favorite for the man.
Yeah, pretty interesting to check out the runes here for Huni also. He is actually going into Mana Flow Band and Absolute Focus. So yeah, also took, instead of Triumph, he's taking actually Presence of Mind. In the LCS, you almost always see people take Overheal on that rune tier. This is very heavily itemizing towards mana. What this tells me is Huni's not going for an Essence Weaver build. I'm expecting Blade of the Rune King into Black Cleaver and more of this kind of early game focus, and just depending upon the Corrupting Potion, Mana Flow Band, and the stacks that you can get from Presence of Mind to be enough mana for him to spam it out.
Well, spamming out the buttons. Grig gets the top Scuttle Crab. He Scryer's Bloomed and looked for the Gragas, saw that all the camps were gone, and indeed Blaber is back to the bottom side of the map. Not a lot of defensive wards, just the Scuttle for that, but it is going to leave top lane pretty safe and isolated, which is exactly what Huni wants. The more isolated the lane is, the better it is for the Lucian. Yeah, vision!
So this is interesting. So Huni is actually not going to recall. Licorice did go back to base, got a cloth armor as well as the refillable. So this is where, you know, Huni now has made the choice to try to freeze the wave. He tried to group it and have it push towards him, which is going to put Licorice in a dangerous position. And I think that is why we see Grig up here on the map. They want this pushing lane that Grig can then attack Licorice in and try to at least get the teleport out or get some summoners out to punish him. Because if they don't do that and Licorice is able to hang around, he still has his teleport. So one more base, you know, for another early item, and maybe you've made it through that most dangerous part of the matchup and can no longer really be punished.
You can see, of course, right now the 300 gold difference in lane is expected for the farm difference. Nice W gets the cannon. That's pretty crucial. But has to drop the casters for now. Trinket Ward was put down in the river. That's pretty expectable from Huni's side. He has not gotten space to put his own ward down right now. And Grig, so he was top side. I think the cannon got missed. He only had Sweeper, so Grig couldn't help ward that side. So right now there is no vision to know if Blaber comes top side.
Yeah, and I think the reason Huni is feeling comfortable with not actually putting down the Trinket Ward is because it's pushing towards him, and they're not likely to try to go for any sort of early dive over onto Huni there, knowing that if Grig were to show up, it would be pretty doomed. So, you know, Huni likely, once he pushes out, he will then go and look to kind of ward it up. Yep. But Licorice willing to take a deficit here. You know, this is not a matchup where you have to feel like you need to go exactly even or anything like that as far as the farm goes. You can be okay being down, you know, 15, 20 CS if you are against an Ignite Lucian, and you kind of just keep it even at that point throughout the game.
Looks like the wave will now push down towards Licorice's side of the map. He takes the CS, lands the nice Q as well. One point out that Huni is also not burning his Trinket Ward to see in that brush, try to push him out of range a little bit. That's not the important part. It's Grig, who Sweeper, yeah, okay, he has a control ward for it. So he Sweepers, runs through his jungle, then says, I'm always control warding here. I don't need the Sweeper for that part. And then he says, okay, I have vision control, now Licorice has to respect me.
Okay, so now Huni is 6. They could actually try to dive this. With the culling, if you can actually lock down Licorice, there is potential there, but they don't know where Blaber is, so they're not going to actually look for it. And Blaber, meanwhile, is just doing the dragon here. Ocean, conveniently for Licorice, will be incredible in this 1v1, where you are expecting to get bullied. Having that additional regen is going to make it much more comfortable.
Definitely moves the needle. Of no surprise here is the bottom lane lead is going to the Misfortune lane. Absolutely a stronger laner than Jinx early on, unless you are a aggro CC lane. Like if you're Blitzcrank, Jinx can do some stuff because you put down the chompers. If you're Tahm Kench, you are farming on a turret.
Yeah, but thankfully for them, there's actually more CS for Johnsun to pick up, so you know, he will be even or ahead. He did take the teleport versus the heal of Zven. You know, they have had priority, so they've been able to get those preferential bases off, but you know, thus far, Cloud9 holding strong in this early game, and Dignitas haven't been able to find any attempted ganks with their Elise. You know, not being able to really blow open the game through top lane or anything like that either. It's not that Lucian needs to win by this point, but you know, it is concerning a bit if the game pace continues as it is.
Blue gets over. Handed easily to Froggen. No steals on this side of the map. Want to point out that Froggen is on Spellbook. After being slowed, though, 2 auto hits stun him. But there is no chase down. He's going to be fine walking away.
Yeah, Froggen playing Spellbook there. I think makes quite a bit of sense. You know, there is a fair bit of utility that you can get from those additional summoners, and if you're not playing, you know, really heavily for kind of lane and bullying there, you know, the area comment, that type of thing doesn't really matter. It's going to be a farm lane, so he's just more happy to take the utility of those additional summoners.
He has to flash, but then Olsen trades the flash back with it. Yeah, the extra knockup would have gotten him knocked down, so the creative flashes, but TP advantage to Licorice. Ignite is down.
Exactly, and that's why it was critical that he didn't have to blow his teleport earlier, because he walked back to lane off of an early base. He can now teleport back this time. Huni down both summoners and the culling. That is really his kill pressure, and Licorice also did not use his ultimate. So there's actually potential for Licorice to win an all-in during this next couple minutes, which really would be lights out on the game for Dignitas if Huni were to get 1v1 killed by the Aatrox.
I want to point out the quality of the recalls as well. Licorice had 1,300 gold in inventory. Huni had about 400.
Really? Swapping.
If they trade flash and just, you know, buy up items, the actual quality of gear was better for Licorice. No plates picked up for Huni. And as you mentioned, the champions are moving around the map.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty smart. This is kind of another option, you know, under the same idea where you're putting Lucian in a position where he's not going to be able to bully, right? If MF shows up and Braum shows up and Lucian is just farming and Aatrox is just farming, you're very happy as that Aatrox. Dignitas will be able to take a couple of early plates here down on this bottom side, but it is the Herald traded for it, so we'll have to see who can get the most out of it.
Yeah, that is a big cost, right? That's 240 gold up front for letting a minigun Jinx sit alone with a BF sword under a turret, but they're not going to go for plate number 3. They're going to take the recall and try to match other lanes, and yeah, Huni, flashless, ultiless, going to have a hard time up here.
Yeah, he cannot defend this. If you stay around, Blaber has flash, ult, everything, you've got to just back off. So despite the fact that they gave up the earlier 2 plates, you can kind of equate that a little bit to what you're expecting to get from the Rift Herald, and Huni being starved out here
and
is definitely good.
Yeah, the CS difference among the top laners between them is only 14. That's actually shrunk over time. I remember snapshotting at 17 earlier on in the game. Licorice taking Krugs, feeling comfortable. But because he has to do that, that is a lot of alone time on the bot side. Still though, as you mentioned, yes, Cloud9 still have more on the play. First turret is claimed on the Cloud9 side. They navigate the matchup pretty well. That's big damage on Aphromoo, and he gets chunked very low.
Grig is coming down here, but they are expecting to dive. You can see that Blaber is running over to actually try to defend this.
Maybe
just
doable.
trying to get out.
Licorice ults, finds the Q, finds the second as well. Blaber suddenly here, and that's repelled down. Jumps to a ward. This should be the turret mostly going down. You can stay for this. You get excited. You can actually fight yet again. There's that going down. Now look for the play. 4 versus 2, but Nisqy's coming over. That is a chomp towards Anivia. Watch out for the second one. The stun comes over, someone to heal gets some movement speed. Wall sections off Nisqy with a flash follow. Could mean Froggen is an egg, but not just yet. He's stunned and can't find the Q slow. Dignitas walk away. The flash follow. Nisqy can't find that either. A trade of a lot of summoners.
Yeah, they are able to get out. Cloud9 really hoping that they could actually chase that one down. Licorice may have to teleport top lane to defend it, but he's really been holding on to this. He does not want to expend the teleport. Now he is going to try to defend these turret plates from going down to Huni. And you know, Nimbus Cloak actually coming up pretty big there from Froggen. Not a rune you would really expect Anivia to always have, but that Nimbus Cloak speed after he flashed did create actually a lot of distance for him, and may be the difference between living and dying there.
Yeah, it's interesting. He actually had the Summoner Heal from Spellbook burned as well, but the cooldown exists, so he only got to use it once. Unlucky. But such as it is, still able to walk away. That's pretty meaningful. 1 plate was taken on the top side by Huni. As you mentioned, the TP was burned to answer, but that did put us back to this 20 CS difference as he got that extra wave there. Dignitas overall very close in gold, but Cloud9 with first turret gold and the extra Drake feeling comfortable.
Thus far, it's looking really good for Cloud9. You got to say, Licorice has done a great job in surviving what is a very tough matchup, but he may be dove now, face-checking the Elise.
A lot of damage in from Grig. Licorice gonna jump over the blast cone, does get away with it. As Huni can only do so much damage down there, and Cloud9 continue the Drake control. First one picked up just past 6 minutes, second one 11.5. Doing really well here is Licorice. That's an easy smite for Grig, but careful. Aatrox is still angry, can't land the cocoon though. He didn't juke to the right, and Grig has to walk away.
Yeah, Grig will walk away. We'll be able to grab this scuttle here for himself. We'll see if they want to try to go back in for it, but they're warded out. They don't actually realize that ward right here was actually getting them. And it's bot lane turret gonna fall. Cloud9 will be taking this down once again. Meanwhile, during all those jungle shenanigans, the wave was not actually pushed to Licorice, so he really wasn't losing anything. The wave is now going to be stacked and pushed back in, and I think he will potentially have to back off. as Froggen is moving up here. So this could be another attempt at a dive and a potential 3v1. But it won't be the dive, so Licorice, he doesn't know. He just doesn't know where mid laner is. And you can see the question mark pings over by the blue buff. So I think he's pretty concerned about a potential wraparound. Yes, he has that ward there, but I think Licorice was worried about this path right here, essentially. You know, Anivia and Elise coming behind him when they were missing. So that is why he's playing so defensive and really willing to give up quite a lot, because he knows that this is the win condition for Dignitas, and his team is getting stuff elsewhere. They have 2 dragons, they're winning elsewhere on the map, they're up a tower, so there's no need for Licorice to be the star in this game.
Doesn't need to be, just needs to withstand the pressure. 40 CS deficit kind of sucks a bit. Yeah, you're down 700 gold, but that's really all it is. Cloud9 as a team up 400.
Yeah, and unless Huni can continue to actually expand that lead, it just doesn't really matter, right? You know, Licorice is going to build defensively. Aatrox will have some contribution just through the CC and kind of tankiness in the front line when it comes to team fights. Grig is very likely going to be worth less than Blaber come team fight time too, because Gragas has a much easier time executing on and being really valuable in those team fights, whereas Elise is more dependent upon creating vision in an area and getting a pick out of fog and these types of things. It's hard to hit Cocoon on a backliner in a team fight. It's not hard to hit a Gragas barrel.
No, it's not, especially when there's very few blinks in the enemy team. Good damage that comes in as Vulcan puts up the shield away from Froggen, but that is a catch. Aphromoo nowhere to be seen anymore, and that's the solo kill for Nisqy. Huni didn't even come close to winning that fight, but the Jinx rocket can't land either, and Nisqy is safe.
Yeah, bad going to worse there. Aphromoo feeling like they had an angle to flank, looks for it, goes in, gives up first blood. Meanwhile, Huni loses the 1v1 to Nisqy and blows the ignite, and Licorice during this whole time is just pushing in topside. So Dignitas losing out on all sides there. Cloud9 now really getting control of this one. 2,000 gold in the lead. So this is really just, I think, feeling like you're in a stronger position than you really are. Aphromoo goes in. They did have vision on Zven, so I guess he just didn't really realize that the third member was there. Thought perhaps Froggen could move forward alongside him and Johnsun could get there earlier, but misjudging, and means he gives over an easy first blood. Plus, you're going to have Huni dying mid lane.
Well, Cloud9 getting better and better in this game as the quick 2-0 happened in this fight. It could be another quick 2-0 weekend as well. Bot turret already gone. Johnsun close to Infinity Edge, but not there just yet. Make sure to stay in after the show. Floodlight League Lounge, always pretty awesome. You just have the mid lane clear, and as the game settles down for a bit, I have to kind of chill a little bit for Huni's Lucian. I know he gets memed for this pick a whole lot. If you date back to like the Immortals TSM semifinal from like 4-something years ago, the Lucian game was the closest game of that series. People only remember the Lucian pick. That was the closest Immortals even got to winning in that entire 3-0.
Didn't they pick it again and lose again?
I think he didn't pick Lucian again. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought that was mostly why they got memed, is that they tried
put it
it, they
in
lost,
game 3
and
as
they
well.
played it again and lost.
All right. Game 1, they're up like 8K.
I could be misremembering. It's a long time ago.
Same.
But, you know, I agree. And in this case, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it still can. But I actually respect the pick. I think that,
right.
You know, you are. What are the odds of them beating Cloud9 coming in this, right? Like, if you're the bookmaker and
like
you're
5%.
setting it, you think it's that low?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Well, if it's that low, then this is the best pick ever, right? You know, flip a coin, do something crazy.
Yeah.
And increase your chances. If you're saying Dignitas has a 5% chance of winning this coming in, I think that's pretty low. Sure. But if they do, and Ignite Lucian has a 20% chance of winning, well, guess what? You just quadrupled your odds, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You kind of have to look at it like that.
I agree. So actually, as curiosity, I know Herald's being summoned in mid lane. We'll get to it in a second then, because C9's going to actually go for a push here. Mid lane's cleared. Mid turret is going to die. Anivia is nowhere near that lane. Instead, it's going to be a mid lane trade for a Drake. I take mid lane every time for this one.
They're going to lose 2 towers. This is actually like, I can respect trying to delay the soul, but when Herald is there, you lose both your mid lane towers, which, by the way, are even more important because you're playing Anivia. And Anivia needs this safety where you can't be flanked to play around the tower and to farm it out. So, you know, Dignitas, I think a little bit of desperation showing there. Cloud9 had 2 very early dragons, and it's like, oh god, are they really going to get a soul at 21 minutes? We've got to stop this. And as a result, not taking into consideration the fact that they have no mid lane priority, that Rift Herald is available for the other team, And it's actually going to be an eventual 3 towers off of this play and potentially Huni getting dove.
Not the best ult. Flash is found still by Vulcan. Kite sideways. Can't get away. Vulcan's on the scoreboard. 3-0 Cloud9.
Yeah, another kill there. Really nice prediction from Vulcan. Huni with a pretty good sidestep to avoid Blaber's cast, but it meant he was always going to die if he dodges back towards them to avoid it. He is just completely locked in there. Cloud9 now 4,000 gold ahead. Much easier comp to actually execute on, and really the gold lead just doesn't matter on Huni anymore. At this point in the game, he's like 80 gold ahead, 90 gold ahead of Licorice. It's basically dead even because of the additional towers that Cloud9 has grabbed. Licorice picking up some bonus gold from that, and all of a sudden you just now don't have a TP on your top laner. Cloud9 has withstood the early game storm there. Licorice, willing to give up a lot, and he had to. And it means that now he's in a great position.
Yeah, this position that Dignitas are in right now, as I'm mostly an AD carry main, I want to point out about Jinx. I think she's a great champion. She is not ever good when down in gold. She basically has no base damages at all. The primary hook of the kit is your auto attacks are better than most other auto attacks, but it's not like silver bolts where you just get free damage. You just have to auto attack more, and just IE is not a lot of DPS. So unfortunately for Johnsun, this Jinx pick, when behind, and by the way, every team is behind against Cloud9 first 15, means he's not doing anything.
And you also have no front line. So it's going to be very difficult to actually navigate the team fights. I think it has to be really well played. I think largely by Froggen. That is kind of the X factor there, is if Anivia can get a great wall and section people off with the ultimate and kind of set up almost this firing range where there's one guy ahead of the wall and everyone's shooting him and everyone else is stuck behind it. You have to have something really cool like that happen for them to be able to win team fights. And that's a big ask, especially when you're stepping forward. If you just get cast in by Blaber, well, you're probably dead.
Cloud9, what's next for them? 40 seconds on Baron, might be that. Already up 4,500 gold. As he crests 19.5 into the game, showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah.
D-mid clear.
I think normally you might say, hey, it's a little bit early for the Baron, but they can at least set up for picks around it. Great vision in that area. You send Licorice to the bot lane. He has TP, Huni does not. Then you can threaten a TP flank, a 5v4. That can give you a lot of priority in that area just from the implied threat. And by the way, Huni has no way of actually interrupting a teleport besides just killing him. So that can be pretty dangerous to try to make any sort of cross-map play there for Dignitas. The guaranteed play for Cloud9 is going to be the next dragon. That is where they're for sure going to look. But Baron on the table there too.
Love those recall animations. Froggen got to point out Anivia mechanics. This got changed a few years ago. Froggen's kept up with the times. Turning off your R does an instant extra tick of damage. So he's often last hitting a minion wave by turning off R. It actually kills it faster because you're not waiting an extra half second, and it saves you a bit of mana. So shout out Froggen for knowing that mechanic. Also pressing R once in a while to stack tier. Anytime you spend mana, it gives you a tier stack. You can only ever store up 2 stacks at a time. So he's like, I'm out of combat, R, cool, we're good.
Yeah, nice to see those optimizations, and it's something you expect from a player who's so well known for this pick. This is kind of his, really, well, it is his signature pick.
It is,
it's not
absolutely.
even just kind of. It's for sure his signature pick. So Froggen, looking pretty good on it thus far, is sitting on stopwatch as well as the exhaust from the spellbook. So pretty defensive setup right there, and will help to keep him alive if Cloud9 does look for any potential style of dive. But again, this is the game plan for Cloud9. Vision is already established in this area around the Baron pit. No wards over here. Send Licorice down to the bottom side, push this up, make someone respond, and then you have TP advantage. Because the only person with teleport right now at Dignitas is Johnsun, and he's not going to be answering 1v1 against the Aatrox.
Second item is in for Johnsun here as the Hurricane's in, and here comes the play. Explosive cast sends him in. Huni nearly dies to ignite. Oh, whoa! Flash ult for Nisqy. Bullet time over the top, and Dignitas are cooked. An omelet on the board for Zven. 3-0 in the blink of an eye. Baron's on the plate.
Ulti flash by Nisqy. 3-man stun. They want Baron and Dragon. They're saying you don't get to take the trade. See if Grig can try to steal it, but Grig is low. If you go over there, you're probably just dead to Zven and Licorice, so they're actually just going to burn this down. Cassio has enough damage to actually just 2-man on that Baron with Vulcan zoning out, so now you can come up here, help finish it off. Cloud9 get everything, and this game is all but over.
This is 12 games in a row where Cloud9 does not make it look close. Heard from Jack earlier on in the day, said they're not looking at the 18-0, looking to keep improving, make sure they're playing the game well. They're playing basically every game well.
I mean, let's be honest, if this team is still improving, you're just gonna get 18-0 by accident. This is one of those things where they've dominated everyone. This is a great engage from Blaber, knocks in Huni, then here, ulti flash from Nisqy. Notice how he buffered the animation behind the wall, then flashes over to make it a quicker cast on the other side of the wall, locks up 3 members with the stun. From there was no chance for Dignitas. Aphro and Grig sent running.
Yep.
But, I mean, this is an enormous gold lead, and you can't even play the map properly because you have an Ignite top laner, so you can't actually answer side lane. Cloud9 have Baron, they have everything working in their favor. We'll see if they can pick off Licorice here, though, as Huni is actually behind Licorice, and he doesn't know it.
All right, there's the slow. There's the Q coming off, using damage there, dodging most of the Qs. Good ulti, doesn't get knocked up at all, and Grig is here for the show. A kill on the board. Nisqy's now showing up. Now, Aphro needs to ult to get into this fight. It is a 5 versus 4, but Cloud9 want it. There's the knockback. Froggen forced to flash. Bit of damage out from Huni, but careful because Vulcan and Zven are coming. Where are the reinforcements? They're right behind him. The wall comes down to separate, to buy a bit of time. And the fact that Dignitas are running away from an outright 5v4 shows you what kind of lead Cloud9 have.
Yeah, they know Cloud9 is in such a strong position, so they're just going to try to take any sort of trade that they can get. They get a great kill on Licorice. That is very nice. They force teleport out of Nisqy, and they will take mid lane tower. Cloud9, though, they're actually rushing down the side lane. They have the Baron, so Dignitas knows they have got to be the ones to match. If you try to take a base race here, you will lose it very likely.
I don't think you base race. I think you keep Jinx on the map and let her kill tier 2, because that turret's always dead.
Yeah.
4v4, okay, I guess there's teleport, but like, I think you could have gotten away with mid lane tier 2 there. I think that's a risk you take when you're down 8,000 gold like this.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, right? It's one of those things where you have to incorporate the situation currently in the game into whether it's worth it, right? So if it's a decent chance at working out, maybe you take that, because chances are if you play the game normally, you're not going to beat Cloud9. But I do think the worry is Aatrox respawns, TP's on your Jinx, he dies, and you can't potentially defend a 4v4 elsewhere on the map. So I can understand the thought process, but it is a tough call to make.
First mid lane turret lost of the entire year. Dignitas got a big win out of that one. 500 gold. That goes to show you how not close these games have been. Only one time in 12 games that turret has fallen. And Dignitas gave it away for an Infernal Drake 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we'll see. Cloud9 now closing in on both sides. Last wave with the Baron buff, so Dignitas hasn't gotten run over by it.
Almost a stun on this Zven. Cass gonna try to delay that. Licorice over the wall. That turret's gonna be gone. What else is next for Cloud9? A stun on Zven. That could be decent. Nice Braum play. Vulcan's already there to block all the damage.
Yeah, and they were willing to play pretty aggressively. They commit the cask because they wanted to finish that tower on that wave, because that was their last Baron wave. If you actually knock him into the team, you get a kill, great, awesome. If you don't, you're still interrupting the ultimate, pushing him out of range, so he will lose that ultimate leash, and allowing Zven to have that space to step forward and finish off the tower. You can see Nisqy a full 2 levels ahead of everyone in the game. Licorice actually up a level now on Huni too.
Yeah.
They are playing the side lane well, splitting up that experience, being able to soak up as many waves as possible here. Cloud9, I think it's just going to be about this next dragon, trying to get soul and then looking to close. They have been closing almost every game pre-30 with their first Baron, but this Baron came so early, they weren't really at the point where they could do it, and Jinx on Hurricane plus Froggen on his Anivia means there is a massive amount of wave clear, and it's tough to actually bust that base.
So history lesson, back in, I want to say about 2012, there was a DreamHack Winter, Counterlogic Gaming Europe, helmed by Froggen versus Moscow 5. The game was probably less close than this at this stage of the game, and the Froggen piloted team managed to delay for a full hour and eventually outscale and win. League is different in 2020 than it is in 2012. The tools to end the game are more numerous and stronger. I don't know we're going to get that 1 hour comeback victory, but we've seen more incredible comebacks.
Is it comebackable?
Theoretically. On paper, it can be done.
So you're not FFing. You're going for it.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's only 6-1, right? So like the scoreboard doesn't look that bad. Okay, maybe the top laner is like, I'm 0-3, game's over, can't win on Lucian, but
Well, it's going to be the Soul, and I don't even think Grig can get in range. They're just zoning him out. MF slows him.
Maybe dead.
Him at the ult.
United. Stopwatch. Okay, they might find Vulcan. JK, they won't. Grig has to run. Nisqy wants in. He's going to find some slows. Froggen. Oh, he's going to be just barely eaten away, but Grig is dropped as well.
Yeah, Blaber actually flash cast that perhaps saves Froggen. You want to just finish him off with that last bit of damage, but Aphromoo is able to eat him up and keep him safe. Either way, though, Cloud9, they have the Soul. They have cracked the base. This is going to be 2 easy inhibitors for them. Potentially even more if they could find some sort of an engage.
Double turret, double inhib, 9,000 gold lead, pushing in still further as Grig is dead. Probably 4 very easy to push with. They are in respawning in 20 seconds, and Cloud9 can easily walk away to that side of the map.
And you can just see how tough it is to actually take down these stone plate supports. Despite the fact that Vulcan was segmented off by Anivia, everyone's hitting him. He throws up the wall, he pops the stone plate, and just has a monumental amount of damage reduction. It's so hard to actually take down these supports on that one item. And he even had Stopwatch, wasn't concerned whatsoever about going down there.
Well, Dignitas is going to try. They're going to kill a ward, and they're going to hope for Scuttle. They're going to clear mid, and Licorice is going to... Nope. He's going to not kill Froggen. He might kill Froggen. They're still chasing him down. Froggen's running for dear life. He's got Boots 1 still. Can't land that Q. They're getting closer. Zven can't find the slow, but here comes the rest of the squad. Nisqy is right there, and that is a very, very dead Cryo Phoenix. The egg's going to drop as well. Zven gets his second egg kill of the game. He's on a killing spree now. And how do you stop Baron? You probably don't hear Dignitas don't really have the damage to fight at all.
I mean, Cloud9 are just playing it so patiently, right? They're going over the wall, they're clearing out all the bushes. The Zven is segmented.
That was several long-range spells, most of them missed.
Yeah. I mean, this is the problem here, right? You look at the map state, and it's like, oh, maybe they can defend. No, bot lane pushing in, mid lane pushing in, top lane pushing in. Where's the line of vision? Well, those are the most forward wards you actually have, right? And you look at everything and you realize, oh, there's actually no possible way to do anything except just into the Baron. So they have to give it up. Cloud9 check all the boxes, everything working in their favor here. And this very likely is the Baron that will end the game. Cloud9 have such a good track record of being able to close out from these types of positions. It's got to be Froggen clearing out the waves, but without exposing himself to a potential engage, because the Gragas ultimate is back up.
Yeah, a couple items coming through. Johnsun now on 75% crit chance. Does have the double zeal upgrade on fire cannon. Means 1 attack to come through, but you could take that attack for free, and Cloud9 still have more overall health than their opposition. Johnsun has to respect his mana pool. Jinx can definitely run out of mana pretty quickly in rocket form, and it's getting lower and lower. I would not burn W if I was her anymore. But here comes the push towards the bottom side of the map. Back in a minigun, knocking down what he's been, that he can, but it's at half HP already. Bullet time. Oh, it nearly kills him, and Johnsun has to regen. That means there's no damage left. Turret number 1 goes down. A slow into Grig. Anivia doesn't quite land with that ultimate either. Has to turn that one back off. Wait for the cooldown now. Huni's in danger. Walks to the side.
Just dead.
He's alive. The second turret might just drop. Gonna try, gonna put a bit more damage in as the knocket comes through. Grig jumps away, but that's gonna be almost a kill. Now forward again is Vulcan. There's explosive cast, 1 for 0. Looking at the turrets going down, and there's just no way to defend this. Cloud9 are a relentless army of damage output. Barely giving up turrets, barely giving up kills, never giving up a game all decade long. Cloud9, all 11 turrets to match their 11 game wins so far, and about to make that number 12 as Huni has to run away, flash to safety. The Nexus falls, and Cloud9 are still not stopped in the LCS.
12 straight wins for Cloud9. Absolutely dominating again here. 31-minute close. They just make it look so damn easy.
They really do. They really do. It's really incredible stuff. You know, they heard the Aphromoo quote a few years ago. League of Legends is so easy when you're Cloud9. It's actually pretty free right here. Every single game a gigantic early lead, and they just transition it. They've lost 1 mid lane outer turret the entire year. I don't think they've lost Baron the entire year. No one tests them yet.
Yeah, they are just looking so good, and it's good to see them able to adapt to these different situations, these curveballs that are thrown at them.
Yeah.
I do think that Licorice made that look so much easier than it is to be landing against